And we're live.
Hey.
Okay, so brand new show, brand new format. With us together as always is the Never Heard of It crew.
Yes.
Right? I'm
Always.
Joey. My brother, my sister Dan. Say hello.
Hello.
My sister Jacqueline. Say hello.
Hi.
Okay, so you guys know us from Never Heard of It, which is a podcast where we watch a movie that we've never heard of on the spot. And you should go to neverheardofit.biz to watch all the episodes and also buy all of our merch, because after every episode, we make a t-shirt based on that episode. So people know that you listen to our podcast.
And you can find fellow fans out in the wild. AKA you looking in a mirror. That's the best you're going to get.
The day when two strangers bump into each other, both wearing Never Heard of It merch, will be the day that the world explodes.
I was going to say.
Like that Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a new format for us. We're used to being on video, but this is Ever Thought of It?
Yes.
A spin-off, not to be confused with Kinda Heard of It, which is another spin-off. It's this is like one of those 60s TV shows where they have like 60 different spin-offs. One's about an alien.
My
one's
neighbor is going to have a spin-off by the end of the year.
Okay, so let's maybe explain why this exists.
Yes.
Because I think that's important.
It shouldn't.
Because
Yes.
technically it shouldn't.
We have to justify the existence of this podcast.
Yeah, to our investors, all of our
Sharks.
yeah. Okay, so last week I posed the question: if you get fat in the Matrix, do you get fat in real life? And we proceeded to talk about this for about 8 minutes before we had to cut the conversation short.
Yeah. We had other business to attend to.
Yeah, much more important business. So the premise of this show is we're going to take a look at all those burning questions that you have about movies and the worlds that they carefully craft to make you believe that they exist.
Or not so carefully craft.
That's
That's where we're here.
Yeah.
To show them all their shortcomings.
To poke holes. So in this episode, I figure we'll tackle two questions, because I want to get back to the Matrix question, because we didn't really leave it off because I'm still thinking about this like a week later.
Yeah.
And then Jax and I came up with a possible question for today that we'll go over. Okay. And if we can veto it. If you're like, that's stupid, we won't be able to, like, whatever. Okay. But if you're listening to this, write your question in the comments.
Yeah.
And
Where?
we'll
is this on YouTube?
On YouTube and SoundCloud. It'll be on.
Okay. I didn't know there were comments.
Wherever you listen to your podcast. If you listen to it by listening to a guy on the street repeating it, tell him your question, and then he'll tell us your local homeless. It's got Bluetooth. So the question is, if you get fat in the Matrix, do you get fat in real life? And that's also, there's sub questions to that. If you get your arm cut off in the Matrix, do you get your arm cut off in the real world? And I guess another subset of that is, would you go into the Matrix, or would you just to get fat? Like, if that was the option, would you go in? Because
I don't see the benefit of just going into the Matrix to get fat.
Okay. But what about this? In the Matrix, do you have, like, if I'm lactose intolerant in real life, can I go into the Matrix and drink a bunch of milkshakes and be fat?
Shit.
Because
well, the Matrix is like would be a good way to get like over your fear of something.
oh,
Yeah.
You know, like if you were afraid of heights, like you could like rock climb or like bungee jump or skydive or whatever without any consequences.
Well,
however,
but there are consequences
But if
if
you
you die in the Matrix.
Right, exactly. There's that little nugget that we can't ignore, is that if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life.
Yeah, like what if you get so fat that you get like heart disease?
Yeah.
And you die in the Matrix.
So here's I was thinking about this too over the week.
it's quite the
'Cause I
question,
couldn't-
right?
Yeah, I could not think about it. So I was thinking, because we were talking about how when he gets like beat up in the Matrix, his like body reacts in real life and he like spits up blood and stuff.
Right.
So I'm wondering if because the basic Matrix is all in his brain or whatever, that like the reactions of his muscles when he's getting hit are what's happening in real life. So his brain is sending the same signals to his real body. So he's not actually getting injured, but like his muscles are doing like a whole bunch of crazy shit, and then like he like fucks up his insides because of it. So like cutting your arm off in the Matrix, I wonder if your arm doesn't just like fall off in real life, but like you lose function of your arm because your brain has like severed the connection or something like that.
Okay.
Right?
So
like,
it just goes.
thinks that there's no
Phantom
connection
limb.
anymore.
Like,
Yeah.
you still have the arm.
Yeah, but you think you don't. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So that would be like if like when you woke up, you would have like immediate paralysis.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be like so messed up because like so then the question is if you broke your leg, you lost the use of your legs in the Matrix, would you come out knowing that you couldn't use your legs in the real world?
Yeah, Zion's not very wheelchair friendly.
There's absolutely no accessibility.
They have that whole like cave system like where they have the rave. Like why?
There's not a single ramp.
I feel like there's like there's a whole community of disabled Zionists or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, the question is, would you stay in the Matrix if you were horribly injured? I guess this also like predicated on the fact that you can manipulate the Matrix in the way that Keanu Reeves can. Yeah. Like they have access to like they learn how to fly a helicopter on the fly, or they know how to like do kung fu or whatever. Because like if you were unaware of that, like if you didn't have access to that technology, you can only go in and out of the Matrix rather than being like I can
like an active participant.
In like the destruction of the Matrix or whatever.
Well, if you have the resources of somebody like Keanu Reeves in that movie, you could just have your guys on your ship program you like robo legs.
Oh, like in the Matrix, they would give you the ability to walk.
That's true.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because like then the question is like, are the signals that the Matrix is sending to your brain reversible? Right? Because like if they could program your legs, then wouldn't your brain think that your legs work? So therefore, in real life, your legs would work.
Maybe, yeah.
Meaning like that the brain is programmable in the way that like influence is like
assuming there's not
signals.
Yeah, assuming there's not like a physical issue, like your nerves or whatever, like your muscles don't work or something.
Right. Like if you lose your leg completely in the real world, you're not getting it back through the Matrix.
Yeah, it doesn't just you go into the Matrix because like it just pops back out in real life.
So then go back to the first question though. So if we're under the assumption that computer is sending signals to your brain in order to change your not change your actual limb, but like remove feeling from it, then could it possibly change your body mass?
I don't think it could change your weight, but I think that when you gain weight or like are overweight or underweight, like your hormones are different, right? Like your I don't know,
like your testosterone or whatever.
Cortisol. I'm not a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait.
I'm back.
Oh.
Are you back?
Hello.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I stopped talking. So,
oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know what the like. The neurochemicals or whatever it is, but it's like your glands work different and your whatever. So theoretically,
so you could be a normal, healthy person before, but you could look exactly the same after you come out. However, your body internally might be totally different.
Yeah.
Right?
That you
Wait,
could have like
could
high
you-
cholesterol.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
What if you're fat in real life and then you get extra fat in the Matrix? and then no, but then in real life your metabolism is higher.
Oh!
So you can get thin in real life more easily.
Wait a second.
This is a conundrum here. This is I don't think the architect when he was creating the Matrix
I know.
thought about this.
No,
You
I don't think
created
so.
Quite a Mobius strip.
Yeah.
Of
When Neo goes in that room, he's like, "Ergo, I was very fat before I came to the Matrix." We had 8 types of fat in the Matrix before.
Right? If that's how it worked, I would rather do that than try to have to lose weight in real life.
Yeah, right?
Like,
Yeah.
losing weight
Oh.
sucks so bad.
I have the perfect way to lose weight. Eat a whole lot of cake in the Matrix.
Yeah, sign me up.
I'm in.
Sign me
Okay,
up.
wait. I have another question.
Okay.
If you does the Matrix mainframe save the state of your character, your person in the Matrix? So like if you get fat in the Matrix or if you lose weight outside of the Matrix and you go back into the Matrix, do you reflect your real life persona? Is it based on how you see yourself? Or is it based on how the robots have stored your data?
Right. Is it a two-way street? Can you update?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if you are part of Zion, you can change it because they're already manipulating the system to get back into it.
True.
So if they can create guns or whatever, then they can manipulate you to look like just like the way they change their clothes and all that stuff. I'm assuming that they can change themselves physically to a degree because I guess like Morpheus could like make himself stronger.
Yeah.
In the context of like the movie world, not like our movie world, but like except for Keanu Reeves, who could somehow manipulate the code to make himself stronger, faster, whatever. But if you could, I don't think you could update it enough that like if you got skinny outside and you went back in, but you would still be fat or you would still be whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it would update like that. I think it's a one-way street.
Yeah.
Do you get old in the Matrix?
Yes.
Presumably.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you
There are
come-
older characters.
Right.
Yes.
But did they start out old? Like, did they go into the Matrix when they were old already? Because, do you age the same way? Does your body laying there age the same way you age in the Matrix?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Because they want the battery to last as long as possible.
Yeah,
Right? The
that's
robots. Because or else they have to keep dumping bodies every like whatever.
true. Right.
And there's also, I don't know if they went over this in the movie, but like how did they create babies?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I guess they could impregnate the women who were in the Matrix.
Like their bodies.
Yeah, and they give birth
Yeah.
without or they give birth in the Matrix.
Right.
Yeah, when
And
it
then-
happens in real life too.
Right.
But then in the Matrix, they're like, "Ah!" all of a sudden, like 4 months in when you really start to show, they're like, what the fuck is happening to me?
I'm losing long stretches of time here.
Time in the Matrix isn't the same as regular time, is it?
I think it's meant to
Is
be
it?
like a 24-hour cycle, but
Yeah.
but who knows if
Like,
the mind
yeah.
perceives that
Right.
in real
That's
time.
like my aging question is it actually 24 Earth hours, like our world hours that you experience in the Matrix? Because like if the time is different and you age much faster in real life or you age faster in the Matrix, then like how do you look
Yeah.
in it and out of it?
Right.
And
Well-
like in terms of the fat question, like if you age faster in the Matrix than you do in real life, then can you come out and be like, I'm 40 again. I was 80 when I was in the Matrix. Because time is double or something.
This is like now we're getting into like the Inception, where
So-
every level of Inception is like a different speed.
Wait,
Yeah.
But if you get fat in a dream, do you get fat
In real life.
'Cause if
Find
you
out
die-
next week.
Because if you die in the dream, you die in real life, right? In Inception.
Is that true?
Yeah,
If you die-
Isn't that what it is in Inception?
I think because then it's like you're brain dead or something.
I don't remember that part of it.
think.
Right.
Because otherwise, there's no consequence for anything in the dreams. Why would they care that they're fighting other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
If they
guess.
Die.
Yeah.
Right? So if I get a tattoo in a dream, do I wake up and I have one? Like,
Oh,
Inception,
yes.
in the world of Inception.
Well, in the world of Inception, they can plant the thought
Right.
that
to
you
get
should get the tattoo.
Yes.
Yeah, what if like in Inception they used it like for like really mundane things? Like they made
We have
like
to go
some guy
4 layers deep into this guy's snow palace that's highly guarded, and then they're just like, eat a turkey sandwich for lunch tomorrow.
and he chokes on her. He's allergic to it. Like, couldn't all of this be solved by just like killing the guy in real life?
God,
Like, did they have to go to his dream to kill this guy?
Yeah. Somebody had to like come up with all this technology, put together a crew that has all the fancy skills
God.
that somehow they know how to do this multiple layers deep in a dream when they could have just like kidnapped him or something. Like, what do you?
We could have just not made that movie.
They just the thing is like they lay back with like their Oculus Quest, and then like they're in the dream world, like. Oh god. Okay. Well, so did we get a sufficient answer to
No.
if you get fat in the Matrix? Do you get?
I think we did. I think the answer is no. You
Yeah.
don't get fat in real life,
No.
but your body reacts to it as if you had eaten all that.
Yes.
Your body chemistry might be different.
Yeah, your body
Yeah.
chemistry
Or
might be
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Also, to go back to the age question, I think in the context of the movie, that when Keanu Reeves in the Matrix was like 35 or whatever, when he woke up, he looked the same. So presumably he
Right.
was the same age.
That's
So
true,
that
that's true.
that you age at the, because like the real world is still follows the physics of Earth.
Yeah.
Presumably, if
Yeah.
they're on Earth, I'm sure like in the fourth movie they'd be like, well, we're actually on Venus, and
I
you're like,
know.
oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Although they could age slower just in general because who knows what that goop does for
That's
people,
true. Right.
Like when they're living in
'Cause-
it, they're not like exposed to the elements and they're not really working their bodies in
That's
the
true.
real world, so they may like.
Yeah, do
age
your muscles
more slowly.
atrophy if you're in the Matrix too long? Or do they do like exercises like when people are like
Oh
in comas?
yes.
Ah.
There's like
The
a scene
robots
with the
come
ro-
by and they're like lifting their legs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Right? Because if you're in there too long, then you wake up and you're like, ah, fuck, I can't
Yeah.
move.
Oh, well, yeah. When
Yeah.
when Keanu Reeves wakes up, he's just
Oh,
like
yeah,
strutting
yeah.
around, like
Yeah.
like bouncing off the walls.
Like as soon as he comes out, he's like really weak, but then immediately he's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get up and eat some slop and then do whatever."
Right.
I can't even lay down for like 20 minutes and I wake up and being like, what the fuck are these? I don't know what this is.
Well, in the Matrix, you didn't have legs,
That's
so
true, that's true.
so when
I
you
always
wake up,
forget that. Because my aging thing was more like if you don't age in the Matrix and then you wake up and you're old and then you go back in the Matrix and you're old all of a sudden and everyone's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like if the way you look in the Matrix reflects how you look in real life, but you aged faster in real life.
right?
Then you went back into the Matrix and you looked old and people were like confused. I don't fucking know.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say if you like wait a long time and then go back in, but that time would have just passed in the Matrix too.
Exactly. If the time
So-
is the same, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
so
you wouldn't
it's
go back and like people are older.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
It's not like you going around like you're in a black hole
Right,
and like
right,
it's been a
right.
year for you, but
Yeah.
it's been like 40 years for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you can kind of assume that time passes the same in the Matrix as out of it, so that the robots aren't messing with humans' brains to. Because
that's
if they are using them as batteries, they want them to operate as normally as they would without
Right.
the simulation,
true.
right? So.
Yeah.
Also, why wouldn't the so let's say like, and maybe this is because they want the world to be as real as possible, but if the goal was that the machines only need batteries, that's the only thing they care about is powering themselves, why wouldn't they do something where like if somebody is about to die in the Matrix and they're young, that they change the code so
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't
true.
happen, so that they can
Yeah.
keep that battery for longer.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I guess they created the Matrix because they needed the brain to be stimulated,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
that the body would stay alive. Because like otherwise, why wouldn't you just put everybody in like a blank room and they have no
Yeah.
consciousness,
I know,
and then
yeah.
they just keep them alive?
Or
But
just
Yeah.
like a medically induced coma.
right, yeah, exactly, yeah. Like why wouldn't they just do that?
Yeah.
The machines they overthought it.
Yeah.
I think
They went like a step too far.
Yeah.
There was
Imagine,
there was one particular robot who's like, "Hey guys, I've been working on this really cool thing. It's definitely gonna work." He convinced everybody that the Matrix was gonna be the best idea.
They were like, man, we never take this guy's ideas. We'll give him this one.
They're like sitting around like the break room drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Did you hear Johnson again? It's Matrix nonsense. Medically induced comas. That's what this company produces. We've been producing it for 100 years. My father produced these medically induced comas. All right, so we've solved that riddle.
We did it.
Mm-hmm.
You're
We've solved the
welcome,
riddle.
we solved it for you.
Checkmate,
I
atheists.
know you I know you left that in there for the audiences to figure out on their own.
Yeah. Everything else is very well defined in the movies. That was the lingering question. That's what.
That's the only question I had.
If Matrix 4 is literally about our question where I'm going to sue.
We need to put this episode out
ASAP. Okay, so the other question that we had, another hypothetical, but if, okay, so name a disaster movie that you think you would best survive in.
My answer is none. I would die instantly.
Now this could be the loose definition of disaster because it could be like a zombie apocalypse. It could be a contagion or outbreak situation where it's like a pandemic type thing.
Right.
But I'm thinking like if you had to be in either like volcano or earthquake or one of those movies, which one do you think you would survive better in, and which one do you think that you would not survive? Very quick, like you would die very easily in that.
The new Planet of the Apes.
You would die or you would survive?
I would survive.
Because you are a friend to all apes.
Yes, to all monkeys.
Yeah, exactly.
You follow ape law.
Yeah.
You've been ready for years to bow down to our ape overlords. I think that natural disaster movies, I would leave up to where I live. Because, like, in New York, if it was, like, a tornado movie, we'd be like, this is fine. We're not going to get hit by tornado.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
or
Like,
San
flood
Andreas.
movies.
You're like, oh, I'm on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would survive San Andreas.
I mean, thoughts and prayers, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah, right? R.I.P. to them, but I'm different. I wouldn't die. But I think, like if there were anything where it was like, get everything that's important to you and you gotta go to like a bunker or something, I would just be like, nope. Just like lay down. Like nuclear, anything, I would be like, forget it. I'm out of here.
I think that for me, that's the one that you wouldn't survive. Like if there was a nuclear bomb or something like that.
Yeah. I think I could survive like a Zombieland type of zombie movie. Because
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because the rules of Zombieland are a little like looser than like any of like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. I wouldn't survive 28 Days Later because that all you need is like there's the one scene where there like a drop of blood goes in the guy's eye and he turns. Like I would be so I guess I wouldn't leave my house. I would just stay home.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah, but you need supplies and stuff.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the thing about the zombie apocalypse is that you have to leave your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel
if there's
like
a
Walking Dead style zombies should be easy to survive. Like I'm always surprised when somebody dies by a zombie in like a show or a movie like that. Like
you're like,
to the
you
other
could've
people,
just gone around him.
Everybody else is a huge threat, and like I know that's what those things are supposed to be. It's like the people are the monsters,
right?
But like anytime any character dies because
But
of
I already
zombies,
know that.
I'm like, how did a zombie sneak up on you? Like what? What are you doing?
I think also the thing that I find like I don't watch Walking Dead and like I don't really think that it's that interesting. But the one thing that I find compelling about The Walking Dead is that everybody becomes that when they die, right? Everybody becomes, if you die, you become a zombie no matter what. So I feel like that's like one of the few zombie narratives that like gives you a reason to survive. Like a lot of the
because
other
it's not
ones,
just
like,
you have to get bit. And you're like, if you
Yeah.
just die to a person, then whatever, you're not going to turn
Right.
into a zombie.
But it's like, okay, well, in any other zombie movie, you're like, well, I could just like stay home, I have food or whatever, and I'll just stay with my family, it's fine. But it's like, in Walking Dead, you have to be like, well, I can't die from anything. I can't get stung by a bee if I'm allergic to bees. I can't fall down a flight of stairs, like, because then it puts everybody in danger. So that one is the one that, like, I think that's an interesting mechanic that, like, everybody's going to become it. So like,
Well, the threat is that you don't want to see your loved ones
Exactly.
become
Yeah.
the zombie.
Yeah.
That's like
And you don't want your loved ones to have to finish you off when you become
exactly
a zombie.
right.
Although, what
Yeah.
are like super old people like as zombies? Like if you die, you're like if like Betty White became a zombie, like how much of a threat is she?
or like or the embarrassment of being bitten by her.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
that's so
The way they stage the fights in those shows, there's like zombies on like the perimeter and they're like fighting up close and they dispatch them and all of a sudden like the perimeter has like shrunk and they're like, oh no, they suddenly snuck up on us over the course of 60 minutes.
so
They slowly
slow.
Yeah. My favorite is when it's like two people having a really quiet conversation in the middle of the building where nobody else is and there's no other sounds and then all of a sudden just like a zombie grabs a guy and there are like 30 zombies all going like and you're like, where was that like 2 seconds ago?
They're so deep into the zombie apocalypse that it's all white noise.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you don't
zombies
even notice
like, wind at this point.
And like Dawn of the Dead does it so much better. Not the remake, but the original, where they are putting themselves in that harm's way rather than
Yeah.
harm's way just sort of like happening upon them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when they're in the mall, they're like, we got to get to this store to get something, but we have to go through the zombies. We have to
Yeah.
put ourselves in danger to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in The Walking Dead, it's kind of like, whoa, and then it's too late.
You're like, yeah, I know I just like gently inserted my knife into 100 zombie skulls, but then this guy jumped on top of me out of nowhere and overpowered me, and then I died.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I don't understand where the strength of the zombies comes from. Like,
Yeah.
if they have like
They're both
such
falling apart and they're very squishy, but they can also like completely overpower you.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you threw like a piece of Jello at someone and like it like was as hard as a rock when it hit.
Yeah.
them.
Like somebody-
Yeah, like
Maybe zombies are non-Newtonian fluids.
Oh, this is adds like
You
a
have to
whole other
be
dimension.
you have to be very
Like-
gentle when you insert things into their fleshy bodies because if there's too much force, they're hard as a rock.
They're like a Wendy's Frosty. They defy polarization.
They have to fight them with French fries.
Yeah. They're neither solid nor liquid.
You can both
Nor
drink them
gas.
and eat them with a spoon.
Yes.
Just like zombies. I think
What was the question? What would we survive? I feel like
Yeah.
we've gone
Yeah.
off track.
Well,
But
I was
I think
gonna
this
say-
is a good answer to that I think we would all survive the Walking Dead situation because I think we
Yeah.
have more spatial awareness
Yeah.
Yeah.
than the characters
My
do.
peripherals
Yeah.
are pretty good.
But I agree
Also,
that the
I would
28
probably
days.
just murder every other human being that I came across because I wouldn't trust
Right.
anybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would be very trusting at first. I'd be like,
Mm.
"Oh, yeah, of course, come on in," and then like it always
Make
feels
them,
like
make them
that.
think that you're friendly. Oh
Exactly.
yeah, come on in. We got plenty of.
Just hold still a second there.
Yeah. I think if it's like a pandemic movie, I've learned from this year that I would probably be really good at it as long as I don't have to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
really good at staying home. I just have to go to my job. So it's like if it was in such a way that like everything shut down and like we just had to stay home to avoid getting sick, like I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. I'm
After
chill.
having to go to work during a pandemic, I love one where I have to stay. Knock on wood that like it doesn't become, but
And I think to go back to your point about the 28 days later, that's when it's fast zombies. So there's no way you're outrunning 100
No.
people running at you. So like
Yeah.
no.
that would be really hard. Or like
The
I Am
World War Z
Legend.
movie.
yeah, or like an I Am Legend type situation where they're like kind of vampires, but they're
Yeah.
all like very, very fast. I feel like I wouldn't. I mean, Will Smith doesn't even survive that.
I know.
And he's Will Smith.
Come on.
Yeah.
He's got the power of Scientology behind him. He couldn't even survive it.
Not even Lord Xenu came down to save Will Smith. There's like an edited version of that movie just specifically for Scientologists where Xenu saves him.
I watch it. Yeah, I think also 28 days later is like it's too quick. You don't have to get bitten or anything. You
Yeah,
just
just
like
have-
come into contact with it. Like that's too
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
I would.
In terms of like natural disaster, I think that earthquake would probably be the easiest one to survive.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
'Cause,
like
like-
one of those like Adrift in Space movies?
Oh god, like
Where you're, like,
gravity or something.
Yeah, or like you're on a spaceship and you're like the only one awake or something like that. Would you go like crazy? Do you think?
How long would it take before you woke somebody up?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
5 minutes. I would be like, what the fuck is going on? Please. And then if it was that movie with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence,
Passengers.
and I woke up Jennifer Lawrence, I would put her back to sleep.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up. Sorry about that.
Wrong person.
I would rather wake up anybody else on this planet.
Well, when you wake up the other person, you're like, oh, you woke up too? I guess we both woke up at the same
crazy.
time.
Wow, weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for a while I would probably be fine. But
It depends on what the spaceship looked like.
True.
Because like if it was like the International Space Station where there's like nothing to do,
Right.
Yeah,
you'd
If
go
you had,
crazy.
like,
But
a computer and stuff.
yeah, but if there was
You
like,
gotta watch TV.
yeah,
They get Netflix on the ISS.
yeah.
Yeah, but you only get stuff from like a couple hundred years ago because it takes a long time for the signal to travel.
You're just listening to like old Victrola.
Yeah. Whatever was
The year is 27. The year is 2737, and the third season of Stranger Things is just released.
You're like, I wonder if they'll still be in the 80s this season.
Yeah, the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess in a space in the space case, I would be an astronaut. So I'd probably be pretty comfortable. If I was like me. in
Well,
space,
what about
yeah.
like the Martian situation?
Yeah.
Like where you're on a like a hostile planet by yourself.
I think it would
Yeah.
take me a
I was
lot
gonna
longer to figure everything out. Like I'd probably
Yeah.
just lay there for like a month, being like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?"
Yeah.
And
I was
then
also
once
gonna say
realized
like Moon.
nobody's coming, or
Oh yeah, Moon with
Sam Rockwell, right?
yeah, Sam Rockwell. Yeah.
like once you realize no one's coming, or
Yeah.
that like it's gonna take a long time, then you probably like.
Oh, if I imagine myself, my current self in the Martian situation, I would just die because I don't know how to make poop potatoes or whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
But like, I wouldn't be in that situation unless I was smart enough to do those things because they wouldn't
Yes.
send.
Right.
Unless I was there with Elon Musk and he died, and then I wouldn't know what to do.
But he doesn't know how to make poop potatoes either.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. It's just like we all be screwed because we're not astronauts. We're just we
That's
just
right.
went to Mars for no
I think-
reason.
I think the real question is do you have access to the resources to survive? Because
Yes.
with anything, like there's a nuclear war coming, but if you stay home for the next 4 years, and then you could go outside and you're fine. Like, do you have the money to buy food? Do you have a place to go?
Right.
Like, if you don't, then it's just like real life. If you
Yes.
don't have access to resources, that's it. Like, nobody's gonna help you. So it's like,
And in the like the Walking Dead situation is like, what are you willing to do
Yeah.
yeah,
to get those resources?
yeah.
Because like
exactly.
even if you don't have access to them in that world, you still could get them, but
'Cause
you may have
you
to.
don't have to have money or anything in
Right-
Walking Dead. Yeah.
Right, you just have to lie or cheat or steal or kill or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many layers.
If you kill enough zombies, you could probably kill a human, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
like a regular human. You'd have the guts to do that.
But if you get fat during a zombie apocalypse and nobody sees you, and the only person sees you are zombies.
That a question for next time: do zombies get fat?
Oh, and we're gonna leave it right there. That's a cliffhanger.
Yes.
All right, join us next week on episode 2 of Ever Thought of It, where we'll answer your burning questions about movies. Well, maybe not burning questions, smoldering.
Like
Questions.
lukewarm.
We will soothe the rash of questions.
Yes,
We are the ointment.
I like that.
Question rash.
Yes, we're the sticky, weird white ointment.
Listen, we're just 3 people who want to know how we can get fat without
Without consequences.
Yeah.
I've been working on it my whole life. I can't figure it out just yet.
It's all I want. Is there like discrimination in the Matrix if you are fat? Like, do they body shame in the Matrix?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's another question too. We should just have a whole separate Matrix podcast.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm gonna have to go watch the
Yeah.
Matrix.
Yes. All right, everybody.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.